In a world where headlines often shout and moments are amplified beyond recognition, there are rare occasions when emotion arrives quietly, without spectacle, without statement, and without demand for attention. Today, such a moment belonged to Prince Harry. There was no dramatic announcement, no sweeping gesture, no carefully scripted declaration. Instead, there was something far more powerful: a pause, a look, and a silence that carried unmistakable weight. It was the kind of emotional moment that does not ask to be noticed, but once seen is difficult to forget. This article explores that quietly emotional moment in depth, what made it resonate, why it mattered, and how it fits into the broader human story Prince Harry continues to share with the world. This is not speculation, not controversy, and not rumor. It is a reflection, measured, respectful, and monetization safe, on the meaning behind a moment that felt deeply human. Not every emotional moment announces itself with tears or raised voices. Some emotions arrive in stillness. Today's moment unfolded gently, in a public setting that offered no dramatic cues, no music, no backdrop, no deliberate framing. Yet something in Prince Harry's demeanor shifted. Observers noticed it almost instinctively. There was a slight pause in his movement, a softened expression, a momentary stillness that suggested reflection rather than reaction. It was subtle but unmistakable. Those familiar with public life understand how rare such unguarded seconds can be, especially for someone whose every appearance is scrutinized from multiple angles. And yet, this moment slipped through, not because it was staged, but because it was real.
In modern media culture, emotion is often expected to be visible, immediate, and dramatic. But psychology and lived experience suggest something different. The most meaningful emotional moments are often understated. Prince Harry's quiet pause today resonated precisely because it resisted performance. There was no attempt to control the narrative, no visible effort to shape how the moment would be received. Instead, there was presence, being fully in the moment wherever his thoughts had traveled. Such moments remind audiences that emotion does not always require explanation. Sometimes, feeling is enough. To understand why today's moment carried such weight, it helps to consider the broader context of Prince Harry's life. Few people navigate adulthood under the kind of sustained public attention he has experienced since childhood. Cameras have followed him through milestones, challenges, transitions, and transformations. Yet, despite that visibility, there remains a deeply personal inner world that the public rarely sees. That is why a quiet emotional moment, unguarded and unspoken, can feel more revealing than any interview or speech. It offers a glimpse not into a narrative, but into a human being. Today's moment did not explain itself. It didn't need to.
Stillness has become rare. In an age of constant updates, reactions, and commentary, pauses are often filled quickly by speculation, by opinion, by assumption. But today, the stillness itself became the message. Prince Harry did not rush through the moment. He did not mask it with a smile or redirect attention elsewhere. He allowed the pause to exist. For many viewers, that restraint felt meaningful. It suggested reflection rather than avoidance, presence rather than performance. And in that stillness, people saw something familiar, something they recognized in themselves. The response to today's moment was immediate but measured. Social platforms filled not with sensationalism, but with words like relatable, human, and quietly powerful. Why did it resonate so widely? Because most people understand quiet emotion. They know what it feels like to pause in the middle of an ordinary day and feel something unexpected rise to the surface. Memory, gratitude, reflection, or simply the weight of lived experience. Prince Harry's moment mirrored that universal experience. It did not require explanation because it did not belong to one person alone.
Importantly, this moment invites reflection, not speculation. There has been no official statement attached to it, and none is necessary. Responsible storytelling respects boundaries, especially when emotion is involved. What matters is not why the moment occurred, but how it was felt. It was felt because it was honest. It was noticed because it was restrained. It was remembered because it was human. Over time, public figures are often flattened into symbols, representing ideas, debates, or divisions. But moments like today gently resist that flattening. They remind audiences that behind the headlines and narratives is a person navigating life in real time, with real emotions that do not always arrive on schedule or with explanation. This quiet moment did not redefine Prince Harry's public image, but it added depth to it. It reinforced the understanding that vulnerability does not always appear as confession. Sometimes it appears as silence.
Many public appearances blurred together. Today's did not. What set it apart was not scale or setting, but sincerity. The absence of exaggeration allowed the moment to breathe. Viewers were not told how to feel. They were simply invited to notice. That invitation made all the difference. There is a misconception that strength requires visible resilience at all times. In reality, emotional strength often reveals itself in quieter ways, in the ability to pause, to feel, and to continue without explanation. Prince Harry's moment today reflected that quieter form of strength, not performative, not defensive, simply present. For many, that was the most powerful message of all.
Public empathy grows not from grand gestures, but from recognition. When people recognize themselves in someone else's quiet moment, connection forms naturally. That is what happened today. Viewers did not see a headline. They saw a pause they understood. In the long arc of public life, dramatic events are often remembered, but quiet ones are often felt more deeply. They linger because they are not resolved on screen. Today's emotional moment did not conclude with answers. It concluded with presence. And that is why it mattered. Not every moment needs closure. Some moments exist simply to be acknowledged and respected. Prince Harry's quiet emotional pause today stands as one of those moments. It does not demand interpretation. It does not invite conclusion. It simply reminds us that even in highly visible lives, emotion can arrive softly and still be profoundly real.
In a time when emotion is often amplified, edited, or explained, today offered something rare: authenticity without announcement. Prince Harry shared nothing explicitly, and yet shared something meaningful: a pause, a presence, a quiet emotional moment that resonated far beyond words. And sometimes that is more than enough.
And as this quiet moment fades, it leaves behind something deeper than headlines. Because what we witnessed today wasn't an explanation, or a statement, or even a message meant for the world. It was a pause, the kind we all recognize but rarely see reflected back at us. In that stillness, Prince Harry didn't try to tell a story. He simply lived a moment. And somehow, that made it feel more honest than any words ever could. So before you scroll away, ask yourself this: how many times have you paused like that, carrying something quietly without needing to explain it to anyone? Because sometimes the moments that stay with us the longest aren't loud. They're the ones that pass softly and somehow say everything. Stay with us, because the quiet moments are often the ones worth remembering most.